That even though they're 0-3 here at the Lone Star State Invitational, that record is pretty deceiving. They've been right in 2 of those 3 contests. As we are underway here between the Longhorns and the Rams, Mayu Matsubara leading off. Against Stanford, Colorado State had the tying run at the plate in the 6th inning, bottom of the 6th. Same thing against Louisiana earlier today in the bottom of the 6th. Tying run at the plate, but unable to get over the hump and put enough runs on the board to pull off the victory. Matsubara, the senior shortstop, moved into the leadoff spot as Jen Fisher shakes things up just a little bit. She was hitting .357 heading into the tournament.
Yeah, I don't think as Matsubara walks that their record is reflective of the type of team that Colorado State is. They play the game the right way. They're fundamentally sound. They play good defense, put together good at-bats. Have lost to some good teams. A couple of their losses have come to Cal State Fullerton, who just beat Tennessee yesterday.
Peyton Allen swinging away at the first pitch. Maloney had trouble with it and somehow recovers in time. Obviously a sunny day, she's got the shades on, and an exciting, adventurous first out.
The important part is that she did hang on to the first out. A little bit scary, but she got it.
Welcome into Texas and Colorado State here at the Lone Star State Invitational. Day 2 of the tournament just getting underway here. And opening walk issued by Tegan Kavan to the leadoff hitter, Mayu Matsubara. Peyton Allen flied out. Here we go. 3rd batter of the game, Haley Smith. Swing and a miss. Texas comes into this one 10-0 on the young season, number 2 in the nation. Outscoring their opponents 101-9 on the year. Smith pops one up. Well, how about these first 2 outs of the game, Amanda? I mean, that is as adventurous as you can get. We saw Maloney with some issues in right. Last second, Scott calls off Atwood to make the grab. Actually, Stewart getting the start behind the plate.
Well, this is how yesterday's game ended last night, too, with some balls that are put in the air and just some scary pop fly outs for Texas. And pop flies are easy sometimes.
The Austin native Danielle Cerna, line drive out to deep left field. So the leadoff runner is stranded. There you go. After that, 3 straight retired. Bottom of the first off.
Sustainable? I don't know, but she's doing it.
Here's Bella Dayton leading things off. 5th-year seniors reached an all but 1 game this year. In the start for the Rams in the circle, the senior out of Bakersfield, California, Sydney Hornbuckle.
And Hornbuckle gives a different look than what we saw from Cerna, who got the start against Texas, and Danielle Cerna, who also plays first base when she's not pitching and hits in the middle of the lineup and is from Austin, so on staff at Colorado State.
And Hornbuckle got off to a phenomenal start this year. Didn't walk a batter in her first 5 games.
A great pitch and an out by Hornbuckle that'll go down as a 3-U. It looks like Bella Dayton thought potentially it was foul or off of her foot, and the umpires are going to talk to Coach White about it, but she just didn't move out of the box at all.
And we'll have our first challenge of the contest.
Yeah, thinking that she felt it off of her foot, and that's why she did not run, and she's going to still be in the batter's box, as you can't see that it hit right off of her front foot.
Now, she didn't move. There was no doubt in her mind that it hit off of her foot as Texas, as this contest, and a huge matchup later on tonight against Stanford. Get one more look At the review, they will take a look at it.
I don't think that this one should take very long.
You would think so, but we still await the final decision. Home plate umpire Mike Hernandez on balls and strikes. Call overturned.
Because Sydney Hornbuckle throws a lot of drop balls and more down the zone, she's going to create a lot of ground ball outs and balls potentially that are rolled over just like that off the bat of Bella Dayton. Maybe a couple more in this game that come close at least to a hitter's front foot.
1-2 the count now to the senior Dayton. Texas came into the tournament averaging more than 11 runs per game. They scored 12 total in 2 games yesterday. 7-0 win and 5-0. 2-2.
Took a lot of close pitches yesterday, so Hornbuckle is going to be tested to find the strike zone, but at the same time not come too much on the plate.
Back up the middle. Went away.
And when Hornbuckle is throwing well, those are the types of ground balls that she'll induce. Screwball, drop ball, and changeup that she's going to mix in. Spots the ball very well, fields her position very well. And the most swings and misses that she gets is in that lower outside corner to right-handed hitters, lower inside corner to left-handed hitters. Pitched the most innings for Colorado State last season, very steady and doesn't give up a ton of power, which should bode in her favor against a powerful Texas offense.
See how she does against Mia Scott, the junior from Angleton. Scott has a hit in 8 of Texas's first 10 games. Immediately timeout called by the pitcher Hornbuckle.
Yeah, a little defense will wear them too.
Ready to go. The band is fixed. First pitch to Mia Scott. Strike 1.
But between that and also the action clock that we have in our game is moving very quickly. Remember last season we had the old school wristbands, had an entire matrix of pitch calls on it that pitching coaches would have to send in 3 different numbers to the pitcher and catcher. And then you'd have to go and find those 3 numbers on the matrix and then know your pitch call. This way, it's very cut and dry. The coach sends it in from the dugout. It says curve or drop, and it will give a zone or a location that they want you to throw it. And there's no guessing.
Games feel like they're going quicker. Yesterday, Texas beat Louisiana 7 innings in an hour and a half.
Games are definitely, I think, moving at a better pace. So the pitcher has... After the pitch is delivered, she gets the ball back. Then she has 10 seconds to get back on the pitching rubber. And then after that, 10 seconds to go into her motion.
That's a fair ball. A strange start to this game. A lot of interesting plays. We had the challenge. You had a couple of Texas batters thinking it's not a fair ball. That one was after Dayton's was overturned.
Yeah, that's
2 outs.
That's that side of the plate that she likes to stay on. So she'll throw outside to righties, inside low to lefties, and she did that well against Bella Dayton, did that well against Mia Scott. We'll see if she goes to that outside corner again, low and away to Katie Stewart.
The freshman who has reached in 9 of her first 10 games in a Longhorns uniform, including 8 in a row. Sends one to right field. Tracking it is Smith and makes the basket catch in right field. 1, 2, 3.
Season and undefeated teams that are still left in the top 25 are dwindling day by day.
Earlier today, Oklahoma was locked in a pretty close game with San Diego State for a while. It was 2-0 in the 5th.
Yeah, that's right. They're playing out in Palm Springs.
Molly Gates. Alyssa Washington underneath it. pretty much the usual starting defense for the Longhorns, with the exception of Stewart catching to begin the contest. Jolie Mitchell, the transfer, over at first.
So many pitching options, and Texas's staff was surprised to see Tegan Cavan get this start against Colorado State, but possibly Coach White wanting to see her pitch on back-to-back days. This is the first time in her young career that she's pitching on back-to-back days.
You would expect Citlali Gutierrez to start later tonight against Stanford.
First time, I should say, that she's starting back-to-back days.
Sustained. Ashley York bumped down a little bit in the lineup, hitting number 6 in this one, the senior center fielder, who did have 2 hits against Texas yesterday. There is Citlali Gutierrez waiting in the wings for that Stanford matchup. York, Washington. Texas's pitching staff is on the verge of making it 17 consecutive scoreless innings going back to Wednesday night. It's about to be 1 run allowed in their last 26 innings. Keep talking about the offense, but the pitching has been unreal. Team ERA of .8 on the season.
Well, and the most runs that they've given up in a game up to this point is just 2. That's it.
Count 2-0 to the junior, Brooke Bolander, out of Fort Collins, Colorado, and there is a strike from Cavan.
I remember talking to Coach White in the fall and coming into the season, and he talks about how he's looking for pitchers to make better pitches in big situations. And I feel like they've pretty much been on cruise control up to this point. But it would be nice to see them get tested a little bit more with runners in scoring position back against the wall. And it even feels like, and we could look up this stat, but it just doesn't even feel like Texas has been losing. You know, like I never feel like Texas has been playing from behind.
A nasty strikeout by the freshman Cavan. Continue the conversation as we move on to the ball conference picks as well in York and Smith. Here is Reese Atwood at the plate for Texas. Right now, the sophomore on pace for at least a 40 home run season at this rate. She's averaging a home run once every 4 at-bats.
And it's just been hard to figure out exactly where to pitch her. It's such a good job of working in the offseason, and Coach Singleton just raves about how hard Reese Atwood works and the conversations they're having inside the dugout about how she's being pitched at bat to at bat, pitch to pitch. And also what a pitcher's strength is too. As a hitter, you step into the box and you've had those conversations with your teammates and with your hitting coach, and you've likely watched film or looked at the scouting reports in the dugout. You have a really good idea about what a pitcher's strengths are and what to look for in your at bat.
And now you're going to start seeing pitchers be really careful with her. We saw her intentionally walk last night and earns a 4-pitch walk here to lead off the bottom of the second.
Yeah, and I think that the challenge for her will be to continue to take her walks, to continue to have her patience and her discipline at the plate, not push herself out of her strike zone just to want to have the hit. And I'm not saying she will, but that can be a challenge for some hitters that are off to such a good start, and then you get pitched around and you want to get a hit again and put your bat on the ball and hit a home run that sometimes you stretch your strike zone. So we'll continue to monitor her, but I feel like she's still going to have a good discipline at the plate.
Strike 1 to Jolie Mitchell. It's interesting you bring that up because Reese Atwood said last night after the 2-home run game, the biggest thing is just trying to stay relaxed and trusting her teammates around her in the lineup to do their job if she walks like she did now.
And I mean, Texas as a team is hitting over 400. So that has to feel good for her that, yes, she is off to a great start, but so is the entire team, that it's not just on her to win games, just on her to produce runs. It's the entire offense stringing things together.
Including Jolie Mitchell, who's behind 0-2. Mitchell's been on a tear since coming back from Clearwater, hitting .625. 5 RBIs, a homer, and a triple. Up the middle, snared by Hornbuckle. Nice job over at second by Allen from keeping that. We're going into center field. They get one.
Yeah, really athletic play by Peyton Allen to be able to keep her foot on the bag and get the force out at second and still actually make the transfer to turn this. So outside corner, that's where she likes to go. Got a roll over. And Peyton Allen, just a really athletic play to continue to keep that force out.
Atwood. Thrown out at second. Here's Mitchell at first, and the first pitch misses to Vivi Martinez, who's now starting to turn it on and look like the player we saw a year ago. The average up to 371 after coming up with 4 hits yesterday. Mitchell is going, and she leads the team with now 5 stolen bases on the year.
Good pitch to run on too, because this is a changeup, so it just seemed like it took a little bit longer to get into the glove of Abby Edwards, and she's also wanting to frame up that pitch a little bit longer to make sure it's a called strike. So Mitchell got to get in there easily.
Mitchell's been doing a little bit of everything so far in her first year in a Longhorns uniform. That one fouled off of Martinez.
And another one hit off of the foot of a left-handed Texas hitter, and it's because of the downspin that Hornbuckle has, and she's not scared to go inside. If you were to look to see where the majority of the pitches go out of her hand, it's going to be, especially for swings and misses and outs, it's going to be inside to left-handed hitters, outside to righties, right at the knees with downspin.
1 and 2 coming up to Martinez. Vivi Martinez with 11 runs driven in on the season. Mike White talked about her struggling with a little bit of a sophomore slump, but still hitting 371. I guess compared to the rest of the lineup, when you have multiple players hitting better than 600, puts it in perspective.
When the team average is over 400 and you're hitting 371 and it's slightly under the team average, you're like, I got to pick it up a little bit, even though 371 is an incredible average.
High standards. 3-2 on the way. Lifted to right field, and it will drop in. Jolie Mitchell racing around third. The throw home cut off, and Texas grabs the 1-0 lead here in the second.
Just a great in-at-bat adjustment by Vivi Martinez to be able to handle this inner half that just doesn't get down enough. It stayed a little bit more flat, so she was able to get her barrel underneath this pitch and drive it to the outfield, find a hole, and score the first run of this game for Texas. That run was able to score because of the speed and Coach White putting Mitchell into motion with the steal, get her to scoring position, and then Martinez driving her in.
So Texas up 1-0, and by the way, we were able to verify during the commercial break that they've never trailed. However, doubled up on the bases. Martinez tagged. Alyssa Washington lines out. Regardless, Texas plays the first run of
staff. An 8.0 ERA, 4 shutouts thrown, and 62 strikeouts compared to just 12 walks.
The numbers offensively and pitching-wise, not just impressive, kind of surreal at this point. Just absolutely ridiculous numbers, including by Tegan Kavan, the freshman, who now, in her young Texas career, 25 strikeouts and just 4 walks.
She's worked so quickly in between pitches, too. Likes to go at her own quick pace, almost speeds up the batter a little bit too to get in the box. And the MO on her is going to be that rise ball at multiple different levels. She can throw it at the belt, she can throw it at the letters, she can throw it out of the zone and get you to chase. A pitcher that goes right at you, though.
That one missed for a ball to Abby Edwards. Gets the call. Okay. Swing and a miss. Now back-to-back strikeouts for Kavan.
Yeah, she likes to go away for her strikeouts too with 2 strikes. And this year as a freshman, she has been so good with 2 strikes. Opponents hitting just 0.45 off of her with 2 strikes. And I mean, that is just an incredibly low number, especially as a freshman. You're hardly giving up anything once you get 2 strikes.
Pitcher versus pitcher matchup now. Sydney Hornbuckle only has 5 at-bats on the year. Let's have a couple of hits there.
I thought it was interesting. We talked about this earlier in the game, but Coach White looking for the pitchers to make better pitches in big situations, and he'd also said that the goal is to limit the amount of games that get out of hand with double-digit runs against them.
Hornbuckle drops one in front of Martinez, charging over, and Sydney Hornbuckle will reach first hit of the day for Colorado State.
Good hustle by Hornbuckle. Get down the line, but that throw just pulled Mitchell off of the bag. Looked to me like she stretched a little bit too soon, and when you know as a first baseman it's going to be a bang-bang play, you have a tendency to take that step towards your fielder before she releases the ball. But I think if she would have stepped toward the ball instead of just where she normally steps straight, she could have actually had that play at first.
Well, Texas's fielding had been so good this year. Fielding percentage around .970, but that is the first error of the contest for Texas. So 2 batters have reached for the Rams, 1 on a walk to lead off the game, and now Hornbuckle on the error. There's Maya Matsubara.
But I wanted to follow up with this stat about how well Texas has pitched early this season. That last year, Texas was 10-7 in 1-run games. But if you take out the 1-run losses that they had, their average margin of loss was over 6 runs.
Shallow right center.
So point being, when Coach White was going back and looking at their losses and looking at the numbers of runs that Texas pitching gave up, the games were either really close or they lost by an average of 6 runs. So it was either one or the other. So being able to have that consistent pitching staff to show up on game day and give you consistent results, as well as having a more consistent defense back behind the pitching, just led to good results for Texas early.
Yeah, they look pretty different from years past in all 3 phases. Against really good competition early on, as we said, what they faced in Clearwater and the pitcher they will face later tonight at 7 o'clock. Kennedy, I mean, arguably the best, if not one of the best pitchers in the country.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. And they're facing a drop ball pitcher to start this game, and then they're going to go to the Kennedy rise ball. It's going to be quite the challenge for them to make that transition.
2-0 in there to Peyton Allen.
And I do think when you look at the schedule and the team that Texas has put together, I think that anything less than a top 8 seed in May when the bracket comes out is just going to be a letdown for them. With how well they've played early, the big wins that they've already put together, the big win potentials that they have with the rest of their schedule. They go to Florida State, they play LSU, of course they play Oklahoma and Baylor and Oklahoma State, with the top of the Big 12 being so good this year.
Conference is loaded. As I said, between the Sooners, the Cowgirls, and the Bears. Full count with a runner on and 2 away here in the 3rd inning. Peyton Allen gives one a ride into foul territory. She had 4 hits yesterday, 2 against Texas, 2 against Stanford. She packs a punch. Dribbler back to Kavan. Easily handles that one. Top of the 3rd comes to an end. We'll talk to Colorado State's head coach Jen Fisher We are now joined by the head coach of the Colorado State Rams, Jen Fisher. Coach, your team has been in 2 of the 3 previous games. You've been close in the latter innings. What do you need to do to get over the hump in this one here today?
Yeah, dang, I mean, Serna got a hold of that one in the gap. I thought we started off that first inning with a walk, and she drove one there. So, yeah, we just got to, man, these are tough teams. We got to keep fighting, keep believing in ourselves.
Coach, what do you like about the way that Hornbuckle is throwing so far in this game?
Yeah, she's not afraid, you know. She just spins it and puts it in the spot, and I love how she plays defense, too.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Vivi Martinez has been the difference so far, the sophomore with her RBI single off Hornbuckle.
Remember Coach Fisher taking over pitch calling duties and all pitching duties this year because Savannah Jaquish was the pitching coach on staff, and in January she got an invite to go and play in Japan in their professional league. So left Colorado State, and now Coach Fisher is in charge of the pitchers.
It's bittersweet. You want to see.
Yeah.
Remember, your staff succeed, but she leaves you. Now that's extra work as the bunt dropped down. And beating it out is the freshman, Caden Henry.
And Caden Henry has laid down a couple of beautiful bunts this weekend in the perfect spot and dives just enough to make Hornbuckle take a couple extra steps to go toward the plate and get it. As she's taking a couple of steps to field it, Henry is just getting down the line. She was a track star in high school and shows off her.
Here comes Ashton Maloney hitting .429 on the year. What was your walk-up song?
I get asked that a lot, and one year was a Bush song, and I just can't remember because I honestly, like...
Everything's Zen?
I just didn't really care that much, so I had somebody pick it for me every year.
What?
I didn't really care that much about it. I don't know. I was too locked in.
Interesting. I figured that's one of the perks of, that's one of the, you get the adrenaline going.
I know, you would think.
Henry goes, safe easily. Glycerine?
Cannot remember the exact line. Good jump by Henry, her speed manufacturing that bunt single and the now stolen base.
Maloney lays down the bunt, and it just turns foul.
And remember, that's how Texas scored their first run, was Mitchell stealing second, and then a Martinez hit that got her in from second base.
A little bit of small ball by Texas early in this one.
They can, just like a pitcher sometimes can give you a lot of different looks, their offense can give you a lot of different looks. They can drive the ball out of the ballpark, they can find gaps, they can use their short game and their speed.
Maloney over to second. That will advance the runner. No, Maloney is safe. The throw pulled the first baseman, Serna, off the bag.
Unfortunate mistake by Colorado State's defense, and Peyton Allen had some time because that ball got on her so quickly, but she ended up just holding on to that throw. I thought that the tag got Maloney, before her foot hit the base, and we'll see here. It clearly hit her arm.
There's a discussion going on right now with Jen Fisher and the first base umpire. How about that? Call overturned. Maloney out at first. Good challenge by Jen Fisher.
And that one is pretty quick, too. And one thing to know is that once you use your reviews, even if you did successfully challenge your review, you don't get to keep it.
Mike White's team still has a runner at third. Now with one out, Caden Henry. And back up to the top of the order we go, Bella Dayton. And keep in mind, this is the third inning, which has been a huge inning for Texas in each of the last 3 games. Strike one. Second time through the order, Texas hitters have really attacked the opposing pitcher.
Yeah, I need to see Hornbuckle continue to use that changeup. Oh, that was such a good pitch. I thought that was going to be a called strike. She's smiling a little bit about it because that was such a good pitch. Could have been an 0-2 count. Instead, it's a 1-1 count.
Tough miss there. 1-1 on the way.
Texas is hitting 700 with a runner on third base and less than 2 outs. Just crazy numbers. Oh, there's that changeup again. I don't know where that pitch is missing. She actually put it a little bit lower in the zone. Looked like it clipped the corner to me. I mean, good eye by Bella Dayton, but that absolutely looks like a perfect pitch and a perfect strike.
3-1.
And again, oh my goodness, great eye by Bella Dayton. You got to give it to her, but there were 3 pitches in that at-bat that looked like they easily could have been called a strike. 2 on changeups, and then this one on this inside drop ball.
I mean, that's as close as you can get without being a strike.
My goodness, poor Hornbuckle, feel for her. This lineup is already so hard to go up against, even when you are getting those pitches called.
Runners on the corners. Mia Scott at the plate. Dayton is going. No throw.
That is just another pitch that Texas is having patience on that she's not getting the call, but that just looks like a strike to me. And the tough part about this, Alex, is that with her being more of a down ball pitcher, she's going to have to bring it a little bit more up. Right now, she's throwing a perfect drop ball at the knees, not getting the call, but she's going to have to start throwing strikes and bring the ball up. Just like that. Good adjustment by her to bring it up a tad, but by bringing it up a tad, you risk Texas barrels running into it and finding the grass.
Two-1 to Scott. Grabbed over it short, and just getting back to the bag safely to keep the inning alive was Dayton.
I have no idea how she got back. So many close calls with pitches and plays at first in this game, but I thought that they had her at second. To me, oh, she dropped the ball. We couldn't see that. Okay, if she would have been able to hold on to it, oh, she would have been out. That got blocked from us in the press box when she dropped that, and she picked it up really quickly. She fooled us.
So Texas gets another chance. Here's the freshman Katie Stewart with Dayton on second, Henry at third. Stewart rips one to left field. That's going to bring home 2. The freshman continues the hot start to her career. Katie Stewart makes it 3-0 Texas.
Again, Hornbuckle is going to have to come more on the plate, have to come a little bit more up because of the tighter strike zone. And Katie Stewart gets one that is more out and over the plate, knows that she's going to be more down, and she's able to angle her barrel down for more of a drop ball to even it out for a more line drive, and 2 RBIs for the freshman. That is a big swing to give Texas 2 runs here in the bottom of the third.
Again, second time through the order, third inning paying off. Here's Reese Atwood as the count goes 2-0. Atwood with the .621 average, top 5 in the country in the first 3 numbers there. Batting average, home runs, and RBIs. Runners going. Stewart heads for second. That one dribbles into shallow center. Another stolen base for the Longhorns, running more than usual today.
think Reese Atwood is going to see this a lot with first base open, and we saw it yesterday too that Katie Stewart-Stoll opened up first base and then go ahead and walk Reese Atwood, put her at first.
It happened after those 2 home runs by Atwood, intentionally walked after that. I believe it's now 3 consecutive walks since those back-to-back home runs by her. Now, how big was that drop over at second that would have ended the inning unscathed?
Crushing.
For Colorado State. There's Jolie Mitchell hitting .423. It's given Atwood some nice protection so far this year. Behind her in the order.
Senior and experienced player, and have to step up in moments like this to prove to teams that they cannot pitch around Reese Atwood.
Mitchell over to short. Matsubara with the scoop to second, and they get the out. But Texas tacks on 2 more. They extend their lead to 3-0 out in the circle. And her head coach joins us now, Mike White. Coach, what went into the thinking to give Kavan the start after her performance yesterday?
Just trying to get her back out there and get her going. We probably won't use her tomorrow, so just want to try to make sure she gets some innings in. She only threw like 64 pitches that first night, so you know, give her some innings.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. A complete game with 66 pitches. Hey, with Reese Atwood looking like she is getting pitched around a little bit, what's the message to her as you're seeing this happen to her now?
Well, don't get frustrated. Just take it what it is. Take it as a compliment, and you know, the next person's got to step up and you know, to drive those runs in. So obviously, it's something that's probably going to happen quite a bit from now on.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, Coach.
Hey, you're welcome. Welcome.
It's now 3 straight walks Reese Atwood has been the beneficiary of. So here comes Kavan, as we said, the freshman. 66 pitches yesterday, 37 so far. Most importantly, 0 runs allowed up to this point. Here's Haley Smith, 2-time All-Mountain West Conference outfielder who homered earlier today. That one skips off of Scott. What a play by Martinez, but just a split second too late.
A good try by Vivi Martinez to pick up Mia Scott after it bounced off of her glove and then right into the glove of Martinez. And that throw just pulls Jolie Mitchell's foot off the bag. I think if she would have been able to keep her foot on the bag, that she would have been out, or at least would have been closer. But you can see the umpire there saying foot off of the bag. Second time in this game that Jolie Mitchell has been thrown off of the, or pulled off of the bag, I should say, by a throw.
Nearly an incredible play, but leadoff hitter is aboard. Here's Danielle Cerna, the Austin High native, to deep left center. That is the way the wind is blowing, in case you couldn't tell, as it took Dayton back to the beginning of the warning track.
And she's had some good swings, Danielle Cerna has, off of Tegan Kavan, and deep fly ball to, I believe it was left field, her first at bat, and then deep fly ball there, and the ball hard and far.
But it's a long out. Here comes Molly Gates, runner on, 1 away. Smith not really a threat to steal over at first. 0 stolen bases on the season. Rams had won 4 in a row heading into this tournament. 3 run rule victories on the season. Put up some big offensive numbers as this one shallow left center, and Martinez calls off the freshman Henry behind her.
Just doesn't feel like there are any balls put in the air to Texas's defense right now. Every ball in the air is feeling like a hold your breath situation. It seems like maybe it's the wind, maybe it's the sun, maybe it's balls that looking like they're going to find a hole in the outfield or on the infield too. We saw last night and today.
I mean, there was no wind yesterday, so that could be the difference today. Sun early on, and definitely with Maloney was a factor.
It's a great pick right there by Katie Stewart. We've seen Reese Atwood all last year, and then Katie Stewart having some time back behind the plate for Texas and has a really good arm, but that was a great block too.
Ashley York over the head of Washington. Rounding second is Smith, and the Rams are in business. The runners on the corners with 2 away.
You can tell how aggressive that Colorado State is being in this inning. swinging a lot of first pitches of the at-bats.
This has been the story for them this weekend. Almost equal to the opponent in hits. They get runners on, but can they finally start bringing them home? Here's the junior, Brooke Bolander. Big opportunity for Colorado State.
All the hitters that have come up actually have swung it. If not the first pitch, they've swung at the first strike that they've seen in the count.
That scoreless streak at stake right now of nearly 19 consecutive innings. Texas's coaching staff resumes their positions in the dugout. Here we go. Kavan and Bolander, the 1-0.
Tell to Colorado State being more aggressive, not wanting to get 2 strikes against Kavan, knowing how good she's been this season with 2 strikes. Just as a reminder, opponents hitting .031 off of Kavan with 2 strikes. So you see that more aggressive approach from Colorado State hitters trying to hit more early in the count.
Bolander skies one to right center. Dayton is there. And the threat is over as Colorado State has an opportunity but strands 2. It remains a 3-0.
To the Women's College World Series for the first time in what seemed like forever. D1 Freshman of the Year. And look at her ERA last season. 0.57.
That was the first time they had made it to the Women's College World Series in 19 years. Riding her arm heavily in that one. Again, that's coming up at 7. Here's Vivi Martinez leading off the bottom of the 4th. Sends one down the line in right, hauled in fair territory by Smith.
Yeah, that will absolutely be must-see TV, and I know a lot of people will be following that one to see how Texas's offense handles the speed and the rise ball and the dominance of Nigeri Kennedy. Stanford, not a big offense like what you see from Texas, hitting over 400 as a team like Texas is. A different style of offense, not going to score as many runs, so it could be a low-scoring game.
Any early not score predictions, but I mean, what do you make of this? The arguably best offense in the nation versus best pitcher?
Yeah, that is what we'll see tonight.
No. We'll see.
It's so hard to see because Texas has faced good pitching, and the better games that they've played, the better pitchers that they've played, they've been lower scoring games, 1-run games. So maybe like a 1-0, 2-1 type score.
We expect to see Citlali Gutierrez, barring something crazy happening, getting the start for Texas in that one. The stellar sophomore.
Yeah, she pitched great against Tennessee and Clearwater, a top 5 team, and looked like an All-American.
It's the last time she pitched. Had a week off. Here's Alyssa Washington. 1-2. Well, Colorado State continues to compete. The scores of these games have been very deceiving. They've been shut out twice, getting shut out here. But they are absolutely fighting in all of those contests. Washington launches one to left center, backing up, and off the glove of York. Alyssa Washington will hold up on second with one away.
I do think that the sun and a little bit of wind is causing havoc for the outfielders. The wind now actually picked up a couple of notches to blow straight out and then also toward left field. So York goes back on this ball, just hits off of her glove, and you can tell she just didn't get a great read on it because of the wind and it getting knocked down. That will actually go down as a double.
She was right on that line where the shadows meet the sun. I mean, right since the first out of the game, both teams' outfielders have had problems out there. So Washington at second with Caden Henry at the plate. But laid down by Henry, the throw to first, not in time. Another close call at first with the freshman being safe.
She's just putting these bunts down on repeat now. The exact same spot, you are even anticipating it coming at you, and she just looks so effortless too when she runs. She is so fast. It doesn't look like she's expending a lot of energy, but she's just so smooth and so quick and athletic. It's down the line fast. Stole
more than 100 bases in high school. We'll see what she does over at first. Washington at third. Here's Ashton Maloney. 409 hitter, and there goes Henry. They will throw to second, and a run will come in as Washington scores.
Don't like this first and third call because Henry is going to be tough to throw out, even with nobody over at third base. They let the throw go through. It bounces off of Peyton Allen's glove. And another run scores for Texas. First and thirds, you never know how a defense is going to play it, and they chose to let it go all the way through, surprisingly, even with the speed of Henry.
Awfully tough to pull that off. Texas makes it a 4-0 contest. 1-1 to Maloney. Small ball the story for the Longhorns in this one. Haven't had to rely on that too much this year. But as you said, they can score in a variety of ways.
Another great changeup there, a smaller strike zone that just not getting the call, but I mean, that's going to be the great part about Texas's offense, if you are a Texas fan, is just seeing all the different ways that they can push runs across.
It's about the 4th time that's happened.
Yeah. Does not feel good. She will throw this drop ball in the inner half, and a few hitters have hit it just right into their front foot or their front shin bone. Ugh, hurts.
Got to be frustrating as a Texas hitter knowing it's probably going to happen. Half the lineup has already experienced that pain so far through the first 4 innings of that one. Maloney turned foul.
I like the way, though, that Hornbuckle has tucked that drop ball low and in to these left-handed hitters. Texas has really good balance, too, of not only speed and power, but lefty power, righty power.
Well, Texas won yesterday 7-0 and 5-0, and afterwards Mike White said he felt like his offenses fell asleep a little bit in those 2 games, which is a pretty good luxury considering they were impressive wins. Maybe not scoring at the rate they were coming into the tournament, more than 11 runs per game, but getting enough production, and there is another run coming home. Ashton Maloney with the RBI single to make it 5-0 Texas.
Ashton Maloney makes an adjustment with that drop ball on the inner half, and instead of hitting it right down into her front foot, she gets her barrel into more of a line drive or a hard ground ball through the right side. Another hit with runners in scoring position for Texas, and the 9-hole Maloney quietly doing her thing down there, producing an average and now an RBI.
First time through the order, Texas just had 2 singles. Second time through, 6 of the 9 batters reached. Back up to the top we go, Bella Dayton. It is now an awfully big hole for Colorado State to climb out of. Getting out hit 6-1 so far. Dayton walked in the 3rd. 2-0. Tight strike zone at times. Texas taking advantage. Longhorns, after yesterday's game, they're averaging about 10 runs per contest. 2 up.
Yeah, Bella Dayton, I think for her last at bat, she's taken a lot of close pitches, drew 2 walks. Only walks that Hornbuckle has given up in this game. She's had a good eye.
Here's Mia Scott, 0 for 2. Maloney and Dayton on. Over the last 2 seasons, Mia Scott, in 71 games, has reached 63 times. Takes one to center. York is there for out number 2. Oh, here comes Katie Stewart. With 2 outs, 2 on, she delivered a 2-out, 2-run single in the 3rd inning to give Texas a nice cushion. She's now reached in 9 straight games.
Or this Texas and Stanford teams already played each other out in Clearwater, and Katie Stewart hit a mammoth home run against Stanford in that game, but Stanford did not show Niger Kennedy in that game in Clearwater. They showed, I think, just about every other pitcher. They saved Kennedy, and Stanford didn't see Citlali Gutierrez either, so 2 fresh looks that both Stanford and Texas will see tonight.
One misses to Stewart. The throw, no throw, as the stolen base over at 3rd, and right now Texas really starting to turn it on as the Rams caught napping.
Yeah, a bit of a delay steal there.
Seven steals now for Texas today. Runner going, make it 8 steals in 4 innings.
Wish I would have written that number down as to how many steals that they had coming in to this tournament. Do you have that number written down? Because
I'll say 15.
Yeah, it was. So if they already have 8 and they had, say, 15 coming into the weekend, I mean.
This one sent down the line, just foul off the bat of Stewart. Yes, 15 stolen bases, 15 of 18 on the year coming in. And 8 so far today, 8 more.
Start to think about, too, how a home run puts you in win position to be 3 outs away from a run roll in the top of the 5th inning. The power of Katie Stewart to do it, although it is more difficult to drive the ball deep against a pitcher like Hornbuckle because of the locations that she hit as Katie Stewart draws that walk on that drop ball. But because she's more down in the zone, ended up walking Stewart, and now you have to face Reese Atwood.
Of all the people to load the bases against, this is the last one Hornbuckle wanted to face, because you can't walk her this time. Atwood walked in the 2nd, walked in the 3rd, walked last night as well. 2 home runs before that. And
the game against Colorado State, and she's not really seen too many strikes, if at all, any strikes, since those back-to-back home runs when facing Colorado State. But now, no choice.
She's only thrown an inning and 2/3 all year. Count evened at 1.
Could work to her favor, though, because no scouting report on her, not as much information about her as Hornbuckle and also Cerna. And so if you're Saugstad, you really go out there feeling like you have nothing to lose. This hitter hasn't seen anything that you've thrown. Go out and throw your best stuff.
Atwood launches one to left. It's a grand slam for the sophomore. What can she do? She is just utterly unstoppable.
Like Coach White said, she can hit from her ankles to her head. She can hit so many different types of pitches, especially one that's trying to get up and in on her hands, but she just stays so tight with her hands and the connection of her swing with her lower half. She doesn't get out around it, stays inside the ball, and drives it well over the left field fence. Now quickly, Texas is up 9-0. That's her first grand slam of the year and her 8th home run of the season.
8 home runs in 11 games. More importantly, Texas will now have Colorado State down to their last 3 outs when we hit the top of the 5th inning.
263 feet off the bat of Atwood.
Jolie Mitchell smacks one foul. You just had a feeling. Again, 2 homers yesterday, 3 straight walks of all the people to load the bases for.
It shows you her maturity this year to walk in 3 or 4 straight at bats against Colorado State after her 2 home runs that she hit. I mean, when she's not walking, she's only hit home runs against Colorado State this weekend.
There is strike 2 to Mitchell. Before that hit, Texas only had 1 extra base hit on the day. That's all they needed. They had scored 5 runs. There's their second. And it was a huge one. Texas will be in search of their 6th run rule victory of the season.
It's a matchup that we can't wait to see if Kennedy is starting that game tonight. Nigel Kennedy versus Reese Atwood.
You keep saying if, eh? You get me nervous. Are we not going to see that?
I mean, I would assume that we are, but nothing's ever a done deal until I see the lineup cards, so.
Good point. And we weren't sure who would start today for Texas, thinking possibly Estelle Check with Kavan coming off the complete game 7-inning performance yesterday, but as Mike White said, only threw 66 pitches in that one.
Warming up in the bullpen right now, though. Actually, right next to Tegan Kavan is Check.
If you're Stanford watching that last at bat by Atwood, what are you thinking? What's going through your mind if you're at least the pitching staff?
Let's see if she can do it off of our best rise ball. I mean, it's, I think,
bring it on.
A little different, yeah. The rise ball and what Texas will likely face tonight with Nigel Kennedy is very different than the pitching that they faced throughout the rest of this weekend.
Should be a good one. 2-2 misses.
Not saying it can't be done, by the way, that Reese Atwood can't handle that rise ball, but it's just going to look a lot different than the pitching and the rise balls that they've seen up to this point this weekend.
Absolutely. The hits continue. Jolie Mitchell. Texas scoring 1 in the second, 2 in the third, and then exploding for 6 here in the fourth. The Atwood grand slam. Mitchell, after the single, will be replaced over at first by Adea Wallace, the freshman out of Plano. Keep in mind with the speedster Wallace over at first, Texas has 8 stolen bases on the day. The program single game record is 9 in the contest.
And we did get an update. Texas came into the tournament with 11 stolen bases in 2 weekends. So they have how many in this game?
8. Unreal.
Hard to keep up with all these just gaudy numbers.
Vivi Martinez drove in the first run of the game in the second with an RBI single. Starting to catch fire. She was hitting about 320 heading into Clearwater. Right now she's hitting just under 380. Skies one into foul territory. Rams unable to make the grab. Don't forget, lost in the offense, 9 runs off 8 hits. Texas pitching has only allowed 1 hit the entire game. And the inning comes to an end. Texas will have Colorado State down to their last 3 outs coming up, thanks to the big bat of Reese Atwood.
A grand slam and her 8th home run of the season. Texas pitching staff, because she does come from the left-hand side. Texas pitching staff so deep with all the different looks they can give you. Tegan Cavan threw well, threw 47 pitches, threw 4 innings, only gave up that 1 hit.
Abby Edwards, out number 1. It's not bad, 47 pitches in this, 166 yesterday. For some pitchers, that would be 1 game's worth of pitches. But they got 2 strong starts out of her.
She works so quick, too, on between pitches.
Very efficient. Stelcheck, yet to allow a run or a walk.
Colorado State, number 22, Giselle Bentley.
Pinch hitter up for the Rams now, down to their last 2 outs of the contest. Giselle Bentley will get another opportunity. Getting ready for that Stanford-Texas matchup. Stanford run-ruled Louisiana earlier today. The game was close for a while, and it got out of hand in the 6th inning.
And that game's still an hour away, and a lot of fans here that I would anticipate sticking around after this one, hanging out, enjoying the beautiful weather, and waiting for Stanford to take the field at 7 p.m.
That should be a great atmosphere night game here. 2 top 15 teams. Perfect weather. If you're Stanford's pitching staff, is there any specific way you look at this Texas offense and say this is the way to attack these hitters?
You just throw to your strengths when you're somebody like a Nigeri Kennedy. And you have to know, too, that they're going to be patient. So she is going to have to challenge them maybe a little bit more if they're not chasing. Nice off-speed pitch for the strikeout for check. So we'll see. I think that the patience that we've seen from Texas's hitters will really be challenged against Kennedy to see if they can make her come to the strike zone, because she gets a lot of chases out of the zone.
Again, that'll be coming up in an hour. Colorado State down to their last out of the contest. Maya Matsubara, the senior shortstop, at the plate. Texas riding a scoreless streak of nearly 20 consecutive innings for the pitching staff. 1-2 with 2 away. Here we go. Got her. Ball game. Texas takes down the Rams 9-0.
I like the way that Sophia Simpson came and closed last night's game and the way that Czech handled her business coming in strong in this last inning here against